Hello Gemini, welcome back if you're a returning subscriber. If you're brand new to the channel, welcome. Hope you enjoy the reading. Happy New Year to you all. Let's hope 2020 is going to be an amazing year for everybody. I think it will be. So let's see now. I hope you enjoy the insights in this reading. It's a general reading. If you have a strong influence in your birth chart associated with another sign, something that you know affects you, or sometimes, when we tune into another sign to do with our moon or Venus or whatever, then it gives us different insight. Or it could very much be to do with somebody else that you're associated with at this time. So you see this playing out in their lives, and you're a party to it. So just see how it resonates for you. The readings are quite detailed. There's quite a lot going on, so I try and touch on as many aspects as possible. But if you have strong influences, then, from another sign to do with the placement of your chart, then you can cross-watch to the other videos I have and get more insight. I have shuffled and laid out the cards, so as they appear in the house, then the relevant house, then that is the influence that is coming into bear at this time. So now, overall influence, bottom of the deck, overall influence, or it's certainly something to take note of, will be Virgo, I analyze. So I feel, looking at your chart, I feel that what you need to do at this time is to get organized, declutter, get organized, because there are some changes coming for you, and I feel that will help you to manage any sort of shifts and changes better. So get organized, declutter, focus on a few details. This is also about summing up different factors, pros and cons, weighing things up, and analysis coming in there. If you are called on to give advice or to assist other people or someone in your environment, make sure that it's helpful and useful advice, constructive advice, which is the forte of Virgo. They look at the details, yes, they weigh things up, but it's also helpful, useful advice, and also they want to, they project the air of reliability, so you want to be able to do that as well. The other side of Virgo is excessive worry and criticism, nitpicking, and so on. So this could be criticism of yourself and criticism of others or of a situation. It could also just be general nitpicking. Also, very strongly that comes up with this is health and diet. So please make sure you are focusing on that to assist you with your chart this month. So first house, you have a lovely card, part of fortune increase. So the first house is everything to do with the self, your appearance, your first impressions that you make on other people, how they perceive you. So your personality, your characteristics, and it's how you project yourself as well. So what you're projecting, which can change, according to various factors. It could even be that your ascendant is strong. So what you're projecting at any given time, it's your personal independence as you make your way through the world, what's going on a daily basis, your attitude, your outlook. It's also your physical body and your appearance and all of that. So your self-oriented interests as well. So now with part of fortune increase, so this card usually brings in karmic triggers of some kind. So something could trigger something in your life where you find that you're discovering hidden talents or abilities. They're starting to rise up, or they get stirred by this karmic trigger. Something sets it off, something comes out that perhaps you may have known about it, you may have had that talent or that ability, you may have known about it, but you never focused on it. It wasn't something that you kind of focused on, but it's now coming out. Or it could be something really undiscovered at this time. So it really is a pot of gold for you. It's something that you haven't focused on and you need to focus on to bring you what you want going forward. And when that happens, learning is involved. So whatever that skill or that talent is that comes out, you have to hone it. You have to master it. You have to learn more about it. You have to sort of focus on it to make it your own, to take ownership of it. So this card is also about what aspects of yourself have you overlooked or shied away from expressing or utilizing in the past. So it's about that, pulling that out and making it work for you now. Because you were born with that, and you need to use it to push you forward. So this is a destiny. It's a card. It's a fate card. You're going to be moving ahead in some way. Good fortune coming your way as well. It's very, very good for public relations and promotional work. Very good for that. It's a wonderful card for that. It's also a card of recognition and achievement. So you may be receiving that in some way. Also, you'll find that with this card, benefits fall in your lap somehow. They just arrive. So it's a very beneficial card. It's a very good card to be having. It brings an easier flow. So if you've had obstacles and difficulties over some time, then you can expect an easier flow with this card. It also can help you in resolving conflicts. So if you've got conflicts in your environment or with other people, now is the time to tackle it, because this is going to help you tremendously. Then in the second house, we have Cancer, I feel. Your second house is your house of income, what money's coming in for you, how you earn your income, how it's actually, the streams that it's coming into you from. It's also the house of your self-worth, hugely important, and also your value systems, what you value in yourself and what you value in others, and also what you value in your ownership, your possessions, what it is you actually own and possess. And it's everything to do with that. It's also to do with property, real estate, anything like that. So now, this is the first of a trilogy of moon cards that you have, one after the other. So that's second house, third house, and then fourth house. So a lot of emotional stuff going on, a lot of cycles, beginning and ending, just cycles in general, fluctuations, things going round. Anything you lose will come back to you at some later stage, but it really is about mastering those cycles and everything that's going on. So first of the moon cards, we have Cancer, I feel. So you can expect your resources, your income to be going through fluctuations or cycles of some kind. Okay. Also, just be careful. You're going to be, feeling very sensitive at this time. So there's a lot of sensitivity going on. You'll be sensing things. It's a good time to be following your instincts. You could be having psychic impressions right now, or that your psychic abilities could be really enhanced right at this time. But also just watch your moods and your emotional response in general. You could be also having reticence or shyness about something. So, as I said, if this is about talents and abilities coming up that you're just uncertain about using, this could be the reticence and the shyness coming in for you. But it really is, it's a very emotional card. It's also about your habits. It's also about the past memories. So you can be looking back at that for some reason. It may be appropriate for you right now. But don't live there. Okay, you must move forward now. This is also a card of nurturing of self and of others, but especially of yourself. All right. So this is also about good diet, nutrition. It's coming up again for you, but just general nurturing of yourself right now. This is also a card about being resilient and gathering resources. So income coming in, you're going to be gathering resources in some way. Just imagine that little crab sort of skittering along the coastline, picking up everything it needs on the way. So you're gathering right now. This is a card of deep emotion. You might find that there are domestic issues which require your attention at this time, in whatever way that is for you. Women may be indicated, or a woman or a female in your environment. And this could be somehow connected to your self-worth or to your values or to your income. Okay. So you could also be buying and selling antiques, heirlooms, that kind of thing. Family is highly indicated with this card, so you could be very much involved with family issues right now, which is entirely appropriate at this time of the year, being December. So, but it's a moon card. It's all about that, cycles, fluctuations, your moods, and so on. So just be careful with that, and your habits. So examine your habits around money as well, your income. Perhaps you could be utilizing your income a bit better, or habits to do with how you view yourself, your self-worth, and your values. Second of the moon cards, we have Moon Soul. This is in your third house, which is your house of communication, all forms of communication, written, verbal, body language. It's also about your, any sort of contracts or documents that you're busy with at this time. With regards to that communication, this can be to people in general, anybody around you, but it can also be on a wider audience. So this can be crowds or some sort of public forum. The moon does bring in crowds as well, so you could be speaking to a much bigger audience than before. Again, it's about moods. Be careful of your moods, especially with expression and what you say. Be very, very careful. So the communication, as it could be on all kinds of levels and with various people or more than one, or in a crowd or in a larger audience, but it can also be to do with specific family members. So this will be relatives in general, but aunts, uncles, cousins, siblings, and also even neighbors can come in on this. So again, sensitivity, security is highlighted with this card. Following your instincts, women may be indicated again, but there are crowds and even fame coming in. This might be appropriate for some of you. So you may be coming to notoriety of something, and that was indicated by the first house card, the Part of Fortune. So notoriety over something, and you're reaching a much bigger audience, or you are trying to reach a bigger audience with something that you're working on, some form of expression. So whether this is a sort of a project that you're working on, or something you need to say, and you're tackling social media. This is also a card of helping others. So counseling may come in, so you may be involved in that in some way, helping others, counseling, and helping others through things that you may have already gone through as well. This also sometimes things that are hidden can come out with this card. So there could be secrecy or over something. You could also be having a lack of clarity or truth on certain issues. Be careful of emotional clinginess as well, sort of being overprotective of your children, or perhaps or certain other situations, or just emotional clinginess. You could also have somebody from your past coming back into your life, somebody you're going to be talking to, somebody from the past. Or you could be gaining resolution or closure on something from the past that is now coming up again, or it's something that was unfinished or unresolved. You could get resolution or closure on that as well. Third house also deals with short trips, so you could be going on a brief trip somewhere, but it would be very nice to go to the seaside, being the ruled by the moon and so on, or a water body. But it would be nice to just, a water body, but probably the sea. Just a short, quick trip may just, settle your emotions as well. Then the third of the moon cards, we have lunar eclipse change. So this is coming into your fourth house, your house of your actual home and your family. So the home is your physical home, the actual structure, but it can also be the atmosphere in the home or the people in your home. It can also be to do with your relationship with your family, your ancestry, your ethnic identity, your foundation, your roots, where you have come from. So it's everything to do with that. So with lunar eclipse change coming in, be prepared for the unexpected. An unexpected shift or change is coming in for you. You may have known about this. So it's something that was kind of brewing. It was sort of on the boil, or something that you felt might become an issue. And suddenly, with great speed and force and drama, it comes up to be dealt with. So you may have felt it coming, but the speed and force of it will be unexpected. So an upheaval of some sort. You'll be feeling out of your comfort zone during this period until you find your feet. So it's really about the old makes way for the new. So it could be an old habit falling away, or some shift in your actual physical home. You're perhaps moving, or something has changed and now you have to move, or people in your home are changing. But whatever it is, it's an essential and a necessary change. It has to happen. Okay, it's inevitable. You could also be immersing yourself in deep memories over things as well. Again, it's fine to look at these memories, gain what you can from them, but don't live there, all right? There could be dissolution of some kind. Something is dissolving. So again, cycles, because it's a moon card, cycles coming in. There could be cycles going on in your home life, or you could be going through a cycle of some sort, and it's the turning of the wheel now. The phases of the moon are all appropriate. There could be a female influence coming in here in some form. So it could also be that a relationship that you have is either going to evolve, it'll deepen, or it's going to end. Okay, so something in connected with your home or your family life. So it could also, as I said, be a new home or a purchase, which is in relation to a new goal, a goal which you've had. With these changes going on, this could take place over sort of, once the upheaval has happened or the changes occurred, it could wrap up within 6 weeks, or it could unfold over a period of 6 months. Then in the 5th house, we have Aquarius, I know. So the 5th house is your house of recreational activities of all kinds. So this is pleasurable, fun, loving activities even. So all pleasurable activities or physical activities, any kind of activity which is fun and great for you, something you enjoy. It could even be gambling, any kind of speculative activity. It could be stock market. It's also the house of creativity. So this is your creativity. And that's not necessarily artistry or artistic talents. This is your creative abilities, which can manifest in many, many, many different ways. It's the enhancement of that. It's also the house of children. So whether this is your children or other children that you're associated with at this time. And it could also, these could all be related in some way. So with this Aquarius I know card coming in, so with this card, usually you're going to get glimpses of the future in some way. So it could be an original idea or some kind of realization, or it could be speculation. Perhaps you're speculating about something, or you're seeing a trend which is going to benefit you in some way, or you're following a trend. It's also that you could have a surprise of some kind coming in for you. Whatever you're going to be doing in this house, or it could even be related to your children, as I said. This house is also the house of love affairs, so this could come in for you in that way as well. But you're going to be getting support from friends and alliances to achieve your goals, whatever it is in this house. There's inventiveness, there's ingenuity with this card, there's reasoning coming in because it's an air sign. Mental faculties are very strong. It's also the card that governs technology. So this is normally advanced tech, but it can be an upgrade for you. But it's technology, electronics, science, anything to do with science, science fiction, space, any of those sort of activities, or it could be an interest of yours, or perhaps your creativity around those subjects is enhanced at this time. Like I said, you're seeing trends, you're seeing the future in some way, and this could very well help you from a creative perspective, or perhaps it's to do with your children. Perhaps they are learning certain things, or they're choosing a career. But it also brings in, this card also brings in open-mindedness, and opening your mind in some way. And this can very well come in with children as well. Sometimes they come into your life and they open your mind about things. You start to see things through their eyes. Or it could be that you're coming into contact with people in your environment through your children, or perhaps through a love affair, or some creative activity, or just a recreational activity. And these people are unusual, or they're very different from you in some way, whether it's sexual orientation or just the way they express themselves. They could be cutting edge people, very highly technically oriented, or they just have really advanced ideas. But they're different, they're unusual. It can also be different and unusual activities that you're involved in, unconventional, cutting edge. It could even be eccentric. So eccentric people, or you could be displaying those activities, or it could be a love affair. Then in the 6th house, we have Chiron healing. 6th house is your house of work, workplace, work colleagues, work routines. It's also your mastery of your craft, whatever it is that you do. It's also the house of health and diet, and it's the house of pets. So now with Chiron healing coming in, this can be applied across the board there. Just see how it comes in for you. It could be one area or more than one area. Or as I said, this could be, you're seeing this in other people around you right now. So this is a card about breaking old patterns. Okay, so now this could be situations, conflicts, or experiences, or some form of dysfunction which was painful or has been painful in the past, and it's coming up again for review. These things tend to reoccur until they are dealt with. So this could be something coming up for you again, something that, you get a reminder of a past event or some kind of situation, or even a wounding of some kind, all right? And if it's not from too far back, then it could be something fairly recent, which was, it's fairly raw, and it's coming up again, or you're getting overtures of it again. It's sort of you're getting kind of a heads up about it again. When this happens, what you have to do is you have to sort of examine this, whatever it was, this experience, and see that there's, bring it into the light. You can't hide it, you can't bury it, it will never go away, it will always be there, and it will keep reoccurring until you deal with it. So dealing with it, basically you must examine it in the light, accept the placement that it's had in your life, what the purpose of this dysfunction or this experience or this whatever went down. What was the purpose of it in your life? What went down around that time? What occurred afterwards? Bring it into the light, fully examine it, fully accept it, release it, and then let it go. And it should not reoccur then. So this is what this card is all about. It could even be an old health issue or an old wound that's coming up again. So when it's a wound like that or a health issue, what you have to do is you have to examine what was going on at the time in your life around the first time you noticed that wounding or that health issue. So what was going on at that time? Examine yourself emotionally and physically, see what went down, what happened, and then you can get to the root of it, pull the root out, examine it, accept it, and release it. You could also be learning or going through education of some kind at this time, also well indicated with this. But generally this card is around natural health, healing, natural therapies. This is homeopathy, naturopathy, chiropractic, all forms of natural remedies and natural therapies, natural healing. Also medicinal can come in as well. Home remedies, anything to do with that, shamanism, anything to do with that may be of interest for you at this time, or you could be going into it as a career, or you could be writing about it. So you're publishing, whether it's a blog or a book or some kind of sort of written publication. It could also be just that you're going into it in some way and you're creating a workspace around this. Perhaps you're now helping others, because that did come up with counseling earlier on. So you could be helping others now in some way. It's a natural therapy or healing benefit for others, and you could be using that at this time, or exploring it more at this time. It could also be that you may just be careful. You may have a little bit of an accident or have to visit a health facility unexpectedly. That could be something to do with just something comes up. Health and diet is highlighted here. Healing is important, contemplation around that. Self-help. You could be having issues with your spine or your bones or your internal organs or something to do with that. And it's the exploration of all of that, the emotional side of it as well as the physical, and coming to resolutions, finding ways to deal with it. It could even be a massive lifestyle change which you need to undertake at this time. Then in the 7th house, we have Sagittarius IC. So 7th house is the house of personal one-on-one relationships. So this could be a love relationship. So this is a committed relationship, all right? So this is normally a marriage or a deep committed partner. It can also be a business partner that you're dealing with, or any other close personal relationship where you are really fully engaged. So with the Sagittarius IC card, this is about visionary, looking at things, the bigger picture, but it's also about visioning for yourself or for your partnership what it is you want. But it is very much about having space, freedom from routine. So giving yourself space, giving you and your partner space, or giving your partner space, so it's you and your partner, or your partner perhaps needs space, or you need space. So it's freedom from routine, change things up, get out of your rut, get outdoors, undertake various activities of interesting for both of you or for one of you, however, but change things up, get out and about, explore, go on adventures. These could be horsey activities as well, or even issues, sort of activities to do with dogs, big dogs or small dogs, but Sagittarius kind of gets involved in things like that and is often around horses and dogs. or big animals of some kind. But exploring and adventure is very, very key. Very, very key for this. So whether, even if you don't manage to get out, explore within your mind and within your relationship. You could also be becoming more social. There's more popularity, or just more social because it's this time of the year. But get out, get outdoors, change your routine up, bring some fresh air into your relationship. It could also, as I said, be something to do with visioning something for the future. There's also honesty required here. This is the card of honesty as well. So being truthful about what you want, but put it in a way which is going to be palatable for people, so that they, you're not blurting out a desperate home truth which hurts somebody else. All right. So yes, there is honesty in speaking your truth, but there are ways of saying it. You could also be going on a little trip to the countryside, exploring mountainous areas, anything like that. You could also be visiting places of learning. Perhaps one or both of you is wanting to study further, or you're just going on a bit of an adventure and exploring universities or libraries or something like that. This is very much a card of expansion, lucky breaks. So this could also be, as I said, to do with a business partnership, and you're expanding in some way, but this is about visioning and seeing the bigger picture. You could also be overdoing things, so overspending, or just being over the top in some way, overindulgence. So just be careful with that with Sagittarius. Apologies for the noisy traffic. Right, so now in the 8th house we have Jupiter return benefits. 8th house does kind of follow on from the 7th, because the 8th house is the deeper commitment between committed partners. So this is sort of a love partner or a business partnership. This is sexual activity of all kinds. It could be the sexual connection in the partnership. It's also the emerging of emotional and material resources. So as I said, this can be in a committed partnership, a love partnership, or in a business partnership. So it's the merging of yours and their emotional and material resources. So it's really getting to the nuts and bolts of things, merging everything. And it's also the house of finance, big finance. So investments, insurances, taxes, accounting, banking, assets, legacies and inheritances, anything like that as well. It's also the house of other people's resources. So you could be handling that in some way as part of your profession, or you're doing it on behalf of somebody else. It's also the house of, as I said, sex, death, which can be literal, but it's more than likely an emotional death, like an ego death of some kind. It can also be a rebirth. So something in your environment could be regenerating or renewing, or going through a renewal of some kind. So something comes out, something old falls away, and a new thing comes out of that. So with this card, it's a beautiful card to be coming in here, actually, because it's going to bring in abundance or benefits of some kind, which may very well be connected to something that you were busy with 10 or 12 years ago. So it's done a full return. The planet has gone all the way around. It comes back to its place that it started at, and it brings back, in a tailwind, it brings back benefits of some kind. So this could be something, it could have even just been an idea, or a person, or a business, or a goal, or just something that you were working on, or that you wanted to do at that time. It didn't happen for whatever reason, and it may come back in for you again. Or it could just be an investment, since this is one of your money houses. Okay, so this could be an investment, or something that you put your money into, and it comes back with a benefit now. So this card can also just be a reward or a benefit of some kind coming to you now, or a gift even. It's a lucky breakthrough of some kind, a door's opening. So it's like dreams can manifest with this card. In this house, it's a wonderful house to be having it. So your dreams can manifest here. A door's going to open, or doors will open. But this card can also just be about faith, strength, coming in for you to persevere or to do certain things. And a divine assistance can also come in. But whatever it is, it's going to be rapid. So you need to seize the moment, seize the opportunity, and make it work for you. You're going to have to work at it to anchor that opportunity, to actually bring it home. This is not a card of just sitting back and letting things happen. Yes, you will receive gifts, and yes, you will receive a benefit, but you also have to work at it, to anchor it down, to make it work for you. So it's a very beneficial card. It's some kind of windfall coming for you, or some kind of abundance coming in for you. But it could just be also great generosity and happiness coming in. It could also indicate overspending or arrogance or being opinionated in some way, because that can come in sometimes with Jupiter. Then in the ninth house, we have North Node, Life's Purpose, another lovely card. Ninth house is your house of all things international, all things foreign. So it's you meeting the world, or the world meeting you in some way. But it can also just be about adventure and exploration, whether this is in your mind or in where your immediate environment. But it's often associated with international travel, long distance travel of some kind. But it can just be exploration of the mind, as I said, and that can be university education or adult education. So it's the decisions around that and all that goes on with that. It's also about deeper understanding and possibly even study or even working in philosophy, religion, and dealing with other kinds of belief systems apart from your own. So it's really opening the mind to all of that. It's also the house of teaching, publishing, promotional work of all kinds. It's also the house of the law and the higher courts. So that could also be a career or a choice of study for you, or you could be waiting for some kind of outcome, a sort of a legal outcome. And it's also about faith, finding faith and finding meaning, the search for meaning and wisdom. That's what the ninth house brings in. So with this card, this is a destiny card. It's another destiny card coming in for you. So it's saying. The North Node is all about harnessing your best life, harnessing the best version of yourself. This is about moving forward into the future to get on path or to get on mission, or however you want to put it. So, and this is this is the direction in which you can be pointing your talents and skills at this time, and it's the ninth house. Okay, everything I've mentioned, all those aspects that I've mentioned. So this is the direction for your talents and skills right now. But this card does bring in changes, bear that in mind. But it is a destiny card, so whatever is coming for you is for you. It's about positive karma. It's about finding your place finding the place of your highest good. Somehow you will find yourself in this position of your highest good. So it's very beneficial. It's exactly, you will find yourself exactly where you need to be. All right, right place, right time. You're also going to be meeting soul family. So these are people you have an instant deep connection with. You just somehow are very comfortable with them. They feel like family to you. But there's a deep connection there, and they're going to be with you, whether it's a short period or a long period, but they're going to be with you to assist you at this time, and you're going to assist them. So there's a mutual connection there, mutual support. This card brings in expansion of all kinds, opportunity, new ventures, moving forward in some way, and also wealth can come in for you, quick developments. So just be aware that changes and quick developments may come, and you may just need to seize it and go with it, because the door will swing open and it's going to be your push to get you there, but you're somehow going to find yourself there. You're going to be pushed in that direction. You're going to find yourself in the right place at the right time. Then in the 10th house, we have Saturn return age. So this is the house of career, fame, reputation, public status, and also authority figures. Or authority institutions. It can be law, like legal things, but also the police and law enforcement, that kind of thing. So with Saturn return age coming in, this is what has stood the test of time, really, because Saturn is about timekeeping. It's also the lord of karma, and it's the lord of discipline in some ways. So all of this is to bring about your highest good, okay? To bring in harmony so that you can be firm, have a firm foundation in whatever it is that you're trying to do. So foundations is what Saturn is all about. Any wobbly or shaky foundations will fall away, and you'll have to build again. So, but with the Saturn return coming, this is about wisdom. This is about hindsight. So what has happened before? What is, gaining wisdom and understanding from what has happened before and applying it to your current situation. So you need to, whatever was perceived as a difficult or unhappy experience or whatever, you need to release and redirect that energy into something positive, something that's going to help you now. So, applying your wisdom and understanding that you've gained in the past to your current experience. So yes, you're looking at it with hindsight. And in some cases, this can be quite a shock or quite a devastating experience, because you suddenly realize you may be running out of time, that perhaps you didn't do something you were supposed to do, you didn't quite tackle, or you didn't take responsibility for something. That can come back to you as well. You're now seeing the result of that. So what you sow, you reap. Okay. But it's also very much about mastering goals, and it's in the house of fame and reputation and career. So it's mastering your goals, applying your wisdom and experience now, clarity on what you should have done or what you were meant to do. And once you get clarity on that, there's freedom in that, because now you know. Now you know what you can do and how you can apply yourself, and that is where you're applying this wisdom and understanding. This can also bring in clarity on what you are supposed to do if you're a younger person. What are you supposed to do? You could get clarity on that at this time. This is destiny taking form, but it always starts with a firm foundation, and each brick has to be put in place firmly before you can build on it. This is also about becoming more authoritative, or it could be that you're dealing with an authority figure at this time, but it is also about gaining authority. It's also about displaying your authentic self, or coming to that, the process that you go to become your authentic self. Then in the 11th house, we have Taurus, I have. So 11th house is all about friendships. It's about your personal hopes and dreams and wishes and your hobbies and interests. It's also about the contacts and the networks that you have. And the exploration of that, the harnessing of that, and also any groups that you may be a member of. So this is clubs, societies, associations, anything like that, or even group of companies. It's also the house of global or group consciousness, and also social reforms and causes, if that is something close to your heart. It's also about trends and currents and the sensitivity to that. So navigating trends, navigating currents, and so on. So now this is a planting card. This is an earthy card, all right? So this is going to be growing possibilities, planting seeds. And this is going to be, in the realm of friends, alliances, contacts, networks, your dreams, your hobbies, your interests. Any of those things are going to come up now with this. It could also be property, investment, and money matters. They may be coming in for you in somehow, in some way in this house. So money matters are important, but trends and currents as well, and navigating all of that. The arts come up with this card as well. So this may be an interest of yours, or it's a dream that you have for yourself, or an interest that you have. So the arts may be coming up, and therefore investment is required in that. Whether it's monetary or time, but you're going to, and your contact and networks all come in with this as well. But you're growing possibilities, planting seeds. This is a card of stability. Okay, it's also a card of starting something. So like a venture or a business. Something like that. You're going to be meeting very important people, sort of making good contacts at this time. It's also about where you feel comfortable, and harnessing all that and growing that, nurturing that. This is very much a card of nurturing as well. Then in the 12th house, and I feel this is going to kickstart a lot of what is going on now in the first part of your chart. Scorpio, I transform. This is falling in your 12th house, very, very strong placement for it. Your 12th house is the house of your unconscious. Okay, so what is going on underneath? Your drives, your motivations. It's also the house where you go to when you want to withdraw or retreat or reflect. Okay, it's the house of escapism. So escapism is fine in short doses, but when you start doing it too much, or it becomes a habit or a sort of a lifetime thing, then it becomes an addiction. Okay, so it's everything to do with that, addictions of all kinds. It's also to do with it's also the house of service, and this is service to others. It's also the house of And that's quite selfless, that as well, because it's the 12th house. It's also the house of karmic lessons. It's the house of what you experience when you visit institutions of all kinds. So this can be a hospital or a library or a university or a prison or a government institution of some kind, a banking institution, experiences around that. So with Scorpio, I transform. This is a very deep card. It's everything to do with birth and renewal and endings and beginnings. Everything to do with that. Scorpio is all about that. The turning of the soil, things coming up from underneath, things that have been hidden, rising to the surface. It's very much a self-analysis card. So deep self-analysis required at this time. Old makes way for the new. So old things fall away to make way for the new, and that can be quite a process going on there. So it's also about, what do you really want? What do you really, really want? And it's listening to that and acknowledging it in whatever way, shape, whatever form it takes for you, acknowledging that and putting it to work in your life. So time to reflect, time to retreat. This is a testing time going on for you. There may be other stuff going on and you need to just go inward to, to do some self-analysis. There could be issues to do with legacies or heirlooms, inheritances, that kind of thing, or sort of items from a family member, old items like heirlooms, antiques or something, some kind of, it could be anything that's coming to you from family or people from the past, okay? Issues could be surfacing at this time, as I said. Things may be coming out of the woodwork. Also protect your interests at this time. There could be a few intrigues going on, but you're also going to have to be resourceful at this time. Monetary issues like taxes and property and shared assets may be coming up, and this could be very well to do with an inheritance or a legacy of some kind. So there's definitely changes from a family perspective going on in your chart. There's something to do with the passing on of a family member or inheritances or changing home to do with that, or something to do with that may be coming up, or it's dealing with items that belonged to somebody else. All of that, and it's all the emotional stuff that's going with that, the memories and the what went down, but it also could just be old things coming up from this, underneath to the surface to be acknowledged and dealt with, which came up in the 6th house and so on. So I just feel this is a turning. You do this work, and then the rest will come in for you. Okay, Gemini. I hope you have a wonderful month. Please don't forget to like and share, or like and subscribe, and take care, and I will see you next time.